Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM on a tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 5,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Without further ado, though, I'm not going to waste your time. Let's hop right into it. And let's start off with Mr. Alonzo Mourning, who I think is a pretty decent card, but maybe not incredibly elite. I think you could make an argument that he's A tier, and I will say I might move him up to A tier. There are about 28 to 30 cards on this list. I think it's 28 specifically, so we're gonna have, I don't know, around 5 or a few more cards in each tier. But the first one we're gonna look at today is Mourning, who is 6'10" with a 7'6" wingspan. So he's a little short, but has a great wingspan. Hop spots from 3 out of 5 spots. 29 hops include a bunch of finishing badges, catch, corner, quick first step, and an absolute ton of defensive badges. Elite defensive stats and rebounding, nice and fast, good dunker, solid shooter. Statistically, he's very good. He needs a couple of shooting badges added, like a chef, a deadeye, a limitless spot up, but overall does come pretty complete. My biggest complaint with the card is that I don't love the release. Jump shot 34 on very quick. It is on very quick, and it's not a horrendous jumper. I just feel like it's weird and tough to time on him specifically. I don't know if it's because of the upper or whatever, but I don't love the release, but I don't think it's bad. Fundamental dribble style is okay as well. As a center, it's not as crucial to have playmaking. It is an added plus if you do, but I think he's a decent but maybe not elite card. For now, I'm going to move him to the A tier. Actually, I still think he's a pretty solid option, but I'm not quite sure he'll stay in that A tier. If so, he's somewhere on that borderline of A tier and B tier. Artis Gilmore, I think, is pretty much S tier. Still pretty definitively. Very, very good card. Not a card you see much anymore, just because there are a few centers better than him, but if you have this card locked in, he's still a really good option. 7'2" with a 7'5" wingspan, hot spots from both corners, 24 hops, no shooting badges or playmaking badges, but elite defensive badges and really good finishing badges as well. Does need a lot of badges added. Limitless takeoff, blinders, deadeye, limitless spot up, sniper, quick first step, glue hands. That's like 6 right there. Ball stripper's a 7th, and then if you want to, you can also add the chef badge, and he does have the badge slots to get all those key badges, which is good because he has a dark matter. So once he's fully badged, he is a very complete card still. He's not crazy fast, he's not an incredible shooter, but with gold shooting badges added and a shoe and a coach, he really does become a pretty knockdown shooter, and I really like his release. It's really smooth and easy to green. He's an incredible defender though, has obviously elite size, 7'2", has an afro as well, and looks even taller than 7'2", you could say. So his player model is incredible. Jump shot 1 on quick is a jumper that, like I said, I am a big fan of. I feel like it's very smooth and consistent, really easy to green. Another card without much playmaking ability, but I really do think he's still a very, very good option at the center position and is going to be toward the back end of S tier, but still an S tier guy nonetheless. Bill Lambier is either C or D tier just because his release sucks. I'm trying to look at this and see if there are cards on this list that I think are worse than Bill Lambier, and there are a couple, but not very many. I'm going to go D tier for now, and y'all are going to look at the card, and I talked about this in the power forward ranking as well because he was on that list as well. His stats are very solid. His badges are really solid and well-rounded. When you look at the card, he's not that bad. He needs a couple badges like a limitless takeoff, posterizer, maybe chef, ball strip, but that's about it. The jump shot, though, even on very quick, is just atrocious. It's really hard to time. It's super ugly. Just not a good jumper. Movement is not great either, but the jumper is really what kills the card. When you have a bad jumper, that is a massive killer for a card. At the center position, I think it's a little less important than the power forward position because there are some other guys in this list who are really good cards with somewhat mediocre releases, and for that reason, I will move him up to C tier because I don't think it's quite as big of a deal at this point in the year, but I will say it's just not a card that I'd personally be running in my team. Not a guy I love. Bill Walton is going to go D tier for a couple different reasons. The first one is just that he's undersized. He's only, oh no, he's not. He's 6'11". I thought he was 6'9". I'm bugging. Maybe he's not D tier then. He's got not great speed, but not horrible. Decent shooter. Needs a bunch of shooting badges added though. Can't get limitless spot up, which is kind of annoying. Once you get shooting badges like blinders, deadeye, and sniper on him, it will help. And a shoe and a coach will make his jumper makeable. He's a solid defender, but he's not like, he doesn't have elite size. He's not crazy fast. Jumper is good, but not amazing. It's basically Ben Wallace's release, but only on quick instead of very quick. Shifted dribble style is good to have, but it's not going to give you a ton of advantage when you don't have Hall of Fame quick first step or other playmaking badges like that. Only playmaking badges he has are passing badges, so he's not going to be able to move very well still, especially with him being a big and not crazy fast. He's just not a very good card at this point. I just don't think he does a ton for you on the basketball court. For now, I am going to leave him in the D tier. I think Boban is actually C tier. This card came out yesterday, and I'll be honest, I completely overlooked him, but I love Boban, not really specifically in 2K, but in real life, and this card is actually much better than I expected. The best thing about him is obviously his size. He's 7'4" with a 7'8" wingspan, so he's one of the biggest centers in the game. Hot spots from both corners. Not a lot of total badges. That is one thing to keep in mind. He has no playmaking badges, is missing a bunch of defensive badges, needs a bunch of shooting badges as well, so you have to be very intentional with the badges you add to him. He only has 5 badge slots as well, So one of them that I would go with is Limitless Spot Up. I would also go with Quick First Step, Bailout, Bullet Passer, and Glue Hands, and that might be it. I don't even know if I'd put Quick First Step on him. I might just go Bailout, Bullet Passer, and Glue Hands, and then add a badge like Pick Dodger or Pogo Stick, probably Pogo Stick as well. So you're going to be missing a lot of badges on the card. That's the one thing you have to remember with him, but he is incredibly big. He has acceptable speed for a guy that tall. He's actually a pretty decent shooter, and defensively, he's obviously going to be a monster as a rebounder and as an interior defender because of his sheer size. Set Shot 2 is a jumper that I don't actually know a lot about. I'm not sure how this jumper is, so I guess that's hard to tell. And his playmaking sucks, but I really do think size is so valuable at this point in the game. I don't know. He's missing so many badges. I'm still going to put him in D tier, but I actually think he's better than what I expected him to be. So for that reason, I will still put him in that area. I'm not sure if D-Rob is S or A. I'm looking at this list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's going to go A tier. I think he's the 6th best center probably on this list, or 7th, but I'm going to go A tier for him right now. Still a very, very good center option, though. I'm looking forward to Dark Matter D-Rob a ton because he's going to be an absolute monster, especially at power forward, but even at center as well. 7'1" with a 7'5" wingspan is really good size. Hot spots from both corners. A ton of defensive badges as well as Quick First Step, Catch, Corner, Sniper. Nice and fast for a center. Good shooter. Good dunker. Good all-around defender and rebounder. Doesn't need very many badges added to him. D-Rob release on Quick. I've said this a million times. It's one of my favorite releases in the game, period. I love this release. I'm so chicken with D-Rob. I green basically every single shot with him, even from really deep, and he is just an absolutely amazing option at the center position. One of my favorite centers in the game still. He's not S tier because I still think there's some guys that are better than him, but he is a very good card. Is still in my team. Dikembe is another S tier guy. Dikembe has a couple of issues though that kind of annoy me. One of them is the 58 steal rating. That's really low. That's going to hurt the card. He needs badges like a Limitless Takeoff, Limitless Spot Up, Blinders, Chef, and Deadeye added, but he has the badge slots to get those also unpluckable. But he is a great defender outside of that steal rating, obviously. He's got elite size. He's not crazy slow. He's a decent shooter. Set Shot 17 on very quick is not a jumper I'm a massive fan of. It's the same jump shot as guys like Wilt have, and it's not a great jumper at all, but it's not completely off. I mean, it's not good, but it's not like horrendous. There are some jumpers that are worse. For example, Bill Lambier's jumper I think is worse. Shaq's jumper, even, who we'll talk about in a little bit, is a jumper that I like a little bit less. So he gives you a lot of defensive ability and acceptable offensive ability as well. Solid all-around card, and I think he's an A tier type of guy. Dino, I think, goes B tier. Decent, but not like overly amazing card. 6'11" with 7'11" wingspan is really good size, specifically the wingspan. He's got like some of the longest arms in the game. No 3-point hotspots though, but an 80 shot 3 and the ability to get Limitless Spot Up, Blinders, Chef, Deadeye is totally fine on him. You can add a 3-point shoot and a coach, and he will be a knockdown shooter, no doubt about it. Also needs a couple of other badges, maybe like an unpluckable Ball Stripper, Pick Dodger, but he's a really good defender. He's got elite length, obviously, which helps him play lanes. Good rebounder, nice and fast. Really good slasher with a ton of finishing badges and interior badges. Jump Shot 4 on very quick is also a jumper I am a big fan of. I think it's one of the better jumpers of the cards on this list. And fundamental dribble style with Kobe size up. Still not going to be much of a playmaker, but the vast majority of these cards are not much of a playmaker in this game. So for me, I think Dino slots in a B tier. Dwight is still a good card, but he's also going B tier for a couple of different reasons. One, he does have pretty decent but not amazing size. No 3-point, well, hot shots from the corners, and that's it. 22 hops. He's got fast switch, limitless takeoff, post stars, or quick first step, and a ton of defensive badges. He is an elite defender, and he's super fast. He needs a bunch of shooting badges added as well as unpluckable. The problem that I do have with the card, though, a little bit low on the 3-point rating with a shoe, a coach, and those badges. It will help him become makeable, but Dwight Howard release on quick is not a very good release, and that is one thing that holds the card back, I feel like, a decent amount from being that truly next level elite. Another guy who I think kind of like Alonzo Mourning is on the border from A tier to B tier. I can't speak, but I don't think he's quite good enough to go into that A tier, so I'm going to put him in B tier for now. Eddie Curry is a decent budget center. I feel like he probably slots in somewhere in the C tier. 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan. Similarly to Boban, the problem with this card is he needs a lot of badges. If you want to count the badges you'd like to give him, it'd be fast switch, limitless takeoff, limitless spot up, blinders, Deadeye, that's 5, maybe Chef. Also bailout, glue hands, that's 6, 7. Chase down, interceptor, pick dodger, 8, 9, 10. I mean, ball strip is like maybe a 10th badge. He needs like 10 badges. You can only add 5. So the badges I would add to the card are fast twitch, limitless spot up, bailout, glue hands, and then probably interceptor. I don't know, because I feel like bailout and glue hands are pretty good, important badges. Maybe not bailout. Maybe you could go chase down Artis instead of bailout or something like that. But he's got acceptable speed. He's a really good shooter. He's a really good dunker. He's a solid all-around defender. He's got decent size, 7 foot, and he has a Shaq-esque player build, which is nice. But he has an incredible jump shot. One of the best jumpers on this list. 38 on very quick. It is super smooth, fast, and easy to green, and that is really what helps this card out a lot. He's also a better playmaker than the vast majority of the guys at this at the center position, but he doesn't have the playmaking badges outside of like downhill, quick first step on goal, and unpluckable, but doesn't have handles for days or anything. So he's not going to be this elite playmaker, but he does give you a little bit of an extra element in that area. And I think he is still good enough that he's not a D tier guy. So I still like the card a decent bit. Hakeem is going to go in the B tier, a card that I don't love at this point in the game. Dark Matter Hakeem could definitely be a lot better for similar reasons as Dwight. He's not quite as fast as Dwight, but he is still an elite defender like Dwight, a more versatile and better shooter than Dwight. But the problem that I have with the card is the release. Similar to Dwight, it's just not that good. On very quick, it will be more usable, kind of like Set Shot 17 is, but very similarly to Dwight, it's just a slow jumper. Not a big fan of that at this point in the year, and that does hold the card back. And I think he and Dwight are actually on very similar levels, so I'm putting them both in the B tier. I don't know if Wiseman goes B or C. I feel like Wiseman probably, I don't know, man. This is kind of tough. A lot of these cards are on that like borderline between tiers. I think I'll go top of C for Wiseman, and then we'll look at the card again and see. I have done gameplay with this card at one point, so I did use him a bit and think he was decent. He's got decent size, only 17 hops, but that's not terrible. He's got good shooting badges, quick first step, and good defensive badges, good all-around defender, decent speed, good shooter, good dunker. Badge-wise, only needs a few badges added, like an unpluckable, ankle braces, ball stripper, pick dodger, and chef, so we can get those badges, which is nice. Set Shot 30 on very quick is not a jumper that I don't think is very amazing, but it's not horrible. It kind of just gets the job done. Not great movement. I feel like he's honestly on a similar level to a guy like Hakeem and Dwight, so I'm going to move him up to the B tier again. Solid all-around card. Kareem is going to be our second S tier guy of the video. I really do love this Kareem card. He's better than Artis. This is my second favorite center in the game. I'll say that right now. 7'2" with a 7'5" wingspan, hot shots from both corners. 25 hops include tons of finishing badges, quick first step, and defensive badges, basically. That's all you need to know about the card. 3-point rating is a bit low, but his release is really good. And if you get a shoe, a coach, as well as shooting badges like Limitless Blinder, Chef, Deadeye, and Sniper on him, he's going to be really, really good in that area as well. He's obviously an elite defender. He's super fast, especially for a guy with his size. Jumper is very, very good. I'm a big fan of Kareem's jumper. I really, really like that a lot. And I do feel like he moves better than a lot of centers. Fundamental Kobe size still are not great, but with his speed as well as half quick first step, it does give him at least a little bit of ability to move, especially with how big he is. So for that reason, he's another S tier guy. KP is a back-to-back S tier guy, our third S tier of the video, and KP is another really, really good card. He's 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan. He's got incredible size. Hot spots from everywhere. 27 hops include basically any shooting badge you could want, some good finishing badges, and box intimidator, post lockdown, rim protector. You'd like to see maybe half brick wall, chase down Artis, clamps, rebound chaser, pogo stick, things like that to improve his defense just a little bit. And his defensive stats also aren't jump off the page amazing, but they're not bad. He doesn't need a ton of badges like ankle braces, ball stripper, pickpocket would be good ones to add, unpluckable as well, fast twitch, limitless takeoff. So that's 5 actually. He does need a few badges, but he has the badge slots for him. Doesn't get pick dodger, which is kind of annoying, but he's an incredible shooter, knockdown jumper. Brook Lopez release on quick, kind of similar to D-Rob, is very smooth, fast, easy to green, even on quick. I don't like it quite as much as D-Rob's jumper, but I do feel like he gives you more in terms of his size, overall versatility, as well as badges than a guy like D-Rob. So for me, he's slightly better than that type of guy, and he definitely still is an S tier caliber player. KP. I don't know if I think KP is C or D tier at this point. This is kind of tough because I liked KP for a while, but he's just outdated, man. I'm sorry. He's not a great budget center option anymore, and I would probably, him and Eddie Curry, I feel like, I'm actually going to go Eddie Curry down a little bit lower because of his lack of badges, despite the fact that he does have a good release. I prefer KP a little bit just because I feel like he gives you a little bit more completeness. He does have similar issues to Eddie Curry. He's not going to get quick first step. He's not going to get unblockable. He's not going to get ankle braces, ball stripper, chase downers, or clamps. But I don't feel like some of those badges are as crucial on him because his role on offense is literally just to catch and shoot. He's a knockdown shooter. And then his size at 7'3" does make up for some of his defensive inadequacies, not having elite defensive stats and no Hall of Fame defensive badges. But he's a knockdown shooter. Even with the jumper on normal, he's an absolutely knockdown shooter, and that is what he does give you at a high level, is the ability to pick and pop and catch and shoot at a crazy high level, as well as the fact that his size helps him both to be able to mash, rebound, and defend better than you would think a card with his stats do because of how elite his size is. He is similar to Boban, but just a slightly more complete and slightly better version, I feel like, than Boban, with a better release as well. So for me personally, I'm going to go with him in the C tier. Yao Ming is easy S tier. He's the best center in the game. I don't really think if there's much of a debate about that. Yao is the best center and one of the best cards in the game. He's got incredible size. Obviously, it's Yao Ming. No surprise. Hot spots from everywhere. 29 hops include finishing badges, blinders, catch, limitless sniper, corner specialist, bullet passer, post playmaker, and a ton of defensive badges. Does need badges like Chef, quick first step, unpluckable, ball stripper, pick dodger, ankle braces added to him, as well as maybe a limitless takeoff and a fast twitch. And he's not crazy fast, but he's a really good defender, incredible rebounder, going to be the best interior rebounder and defender in the game. 93 shot 3 as well, because it's a glitch shooting card, which is absolutely phenomenal. And though he is a bit slow because of how big he is, especially if you get a speed shoe on him, he doesn't feel that slow defensively, which is nice. Set shot 8 on very quick is also honestly a much better jumper than a lot of the other set shots. It's a much better jumper than guys like Dikembe, Wilt, Shaq, Bill Lambier have. So that is nice that I like his jump shot a decent amount. It's really easy to green. It's not that slow at all. So I'm a pretty big fan of that for Yao as well. And his size coupled with his defense, his shooting ability, all those things, I think he's the best center in the game. And I don't think it's honestly particularly close. Nikola Jokic is a card that I personally am not that huge of a fan of, but I do feel like I have to give him a certain amount of respect and put him in B tier. I don't love this card, but statistically he is pretty good. He's nice and fast, not a great defender, and defensive badges are pretty decent, but they're mostly just rebounding type of stuff. 96 shot 3 though. He's got a pretty good jumper. He's an elite shooter, really great playmaker for a center as well. He's got shifty dribble style and pro size up, which is honestly pretty good. Kawhi Pro 5 behind the back as well, so he's got some of the best SIGs of any card in this list. Set shot 14 is one of the best set shots in the game. On very quick, it's fast, smooth, pretty easy to green, and despite the fact that he's not an elite defender, he is a very, very good all-around card, especially on the offensive end of the court. I feel like he's super solid. I don't love the card. I'm not going to put him in A tier. I don't think he's as good as the guys in A tier, but he is a solid option and does deserve to be in the B tier. Patrick Ewing is a guy that I do still think does deserve to be somewhere in that A tier, on a very similar level to your Alonzo Mournings and David Robinsons as solid options. Maybe not elite, but definitely very good. 7 foot with a 7'3" wingspan, so he's got pretty good size. Hotspots from both corners. 24 hops include nice shooting badges, some good interior badges, and great defensive badges. Does need some badges added to him, like a Deadeye, blinders, limitless spot up, maybe Chef, unpluckable, ball stripper, ankle braces, limitless takeoff. So he does need badges added to him, unstrippable as well. But he has the badge slots to get all those badges, which is nice. He's got decent speed, really good defender, really good rebounder, really good finisher, and a good shooter. Got a solid release, jump shot 4 on quick. If it was on very quick, it definitely be better, but even on quick, it is solid. And he is right there with guys like David Robinson and Alonzo Mourning as those really good second tier type of centers. Super solid card, maybe not incredible, but definitely gets the job done at a pretty high level. Ralph Sampson, I hate this card. I'm gonna be completely honest. I cannot stand Ralph Sampson. I feel like he just does not play very good in game, and yet because he is 7'4", I feel like I don't know. I want to put him in C tier because I don't like him. I don't like him over any of the guys in B tier for me personally. He does have incredible size, which is very valuable, but he's decently slow. Even though he has a good jumper or a good shooting ability, his jumper is not that good. He needs a ton of badges added. He's not the greatest defender, but his size does help him out defensively, obviously, and he's a really good interior defender. He just feels slow. Set shot 17 only on quick is not a good jumper because I don't even really like it on very quick, but he especially on quick, it's not as good. He has no movement whatsoever. He is slow. He's basically Yao Ming without a good jumper, without defensive ability, versatility, feels slower, a little bit smaller. I just don't like the card. I feel like he's still, because of his size, is good enough that I feel like I have to put him in the B tier, but nope, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. If you like Ralph Sampson, that's fine. He's better on next gen. On current gen, I really think this card sucks. I hate Ralph Sampson. He's going C tier. I'm sorry. Rick Smits. I don't know, bro. This diamond card is actually so good, bro. 7'4" with a 7'7" wingspan, so he's got the same size as Ralph. Not complete badge wise, kind of like Boban. Only 12 hoffs, 19 gold badges. He's got interior hoffs and defensive hoffs. He doesn't come with with limitless spot. He doesn't come with blinders, chef, or sniper. Doesn't come with limitless takeoff or posterizer or fast twitch or bullet passer or glue hands or quick first step or ball stripper or pick dodger or ankle braces. I could go on, right? He's kind of slow. He's an acceptable shooter. He's not the greatest defensive stat-wise. But this card, I don't know, man. He's got a good jumper. Jump shot 22 on quick is a very good jumper for a center. And this card impresses me. If you do add 5 badges to him, even if you have to pick and choose, you go limitless spot up, bullet passer, glue hands. Honestly, these are all perimeter defensive badges, so you can kind of avoid them. Sniper, and then maybe quick first step or fast twitch or something. He's going to give you enough. I know he's missing badges, and that was a curse that I kind of said about Eddie Curry and Boban that puts them in D tier. I love this Rick Smits card. I feel like he is Ralph Sampson with a good release. He's got the same size, the same ability, but he's a little faster, and he's got a much, much better release. I definitely would take him over Ralph Sampson's personally. I'm going to put him in B tier. I think he's honestly a really solid card. Robert Parrish is C tier. He's got decent size, and he's a pretty good defender. He is 7 foot tall as well. But 19 hoffs, they're all finishing in defensive badges, which is nice. Hoff quick first step as well. only a 70 shot 3 though, and needs a bunch of shooting badges. For me, I don't feel like he's really worth adding those shooting badges to, because he's just not an elite card, but you can add shooting badges to improve him in that area, as well as those interior defensive badges. But set shot 14 on quick, it's not terrible, but it's not great, especially when you have a lower 3-point shot. It's not on very quick like Jokic's is, which kind of hurts him just a bit in that area. I just don't feel like this card is elite. He is the best card in C tier, I will say that, but I don't feel like I would take him over any of the cards in B tier. So for me personally, Robert Parrish still goes in the C tier. Now, a D tier guy is Rudy Gobert. He's one of the worst cards on this list, I would say. He's got pretty acceptable speed. And he's a really good defender with amazing defensive badges. But the problem, he's got a 69 3-pointer and no shooting badges. And as a pink diamond, he can only get 5 shooting badges. So even if you had a coach shoe and 5 shooting badges to him, he's still going to be missing badges like fast twitch and limitless takeoff and bailout. As well as quick first step, unpluckable, pick dodger, ball stripper, etc. So he's going to be missing badges. He's got a really low 3-point rating. His jumper is acceptable. This jumper is actually not that bad, but it's not great at all. And with how low his 3-point rating is, you're going to want to basically green, or you're not going to hit them. And he's just not going to be a consistent enough shooter. And also is going to be missing too many badges. For me, I feel like he definitely falls into the category of D tier, and it's not a card that I personally would be interested in running at this point in the year. I'm going to put Shaq in the C tier, because what Shaq does have is really not invincible Shaq. We'll get to invincible Shaq in a second. But Shaq, this power within Shaq is he has great size. He's got great finishing. He's got great defense. He obviously has great defensive animations as well, and stats, and rebounding, and hot quick first step. He's got a 55 shot 3. Even if you fully badge, shoe, coach, all those things, all of his shooting abilities, he is still going to be an incredibly inconsistent 3-point shooter, less than a 73 pointer. Shaq release on normal is also just really slow, so the jumper is going to be terrible. You may green 1 out of every like 7 or 8 shots with him wide open, but it's gonna be hard to get wide open shots with him in the first place because of how slow his release is, and he just is not going to get the job done in terms of his ability to stretch the floor. And despite being an elite defender, elite finisher, elite rebounder, all those things, if you can't shoot, you can't play. He's better than the guys in D tier, but he still goes C tier for me. Shaq is an easy S tier, the invincible one this time. But the thing about this card, I don't feel like he's better than Yao. I will say that this is actually how I would rank the S tier. To be honest, I haven't been really ranking these tiers within the tiers on how good I think these cards are. But I will say I think Shaq is the 2nd or 3rd best center. Honestly, I'd still probably take Kareem over him too. So I put him at the 3rd best center in the game. Still an S tier guy. Hotspots from everywhere. Almost perfect stats. I mean, 99 everything basically, 98 on a couple stats, maybe 97 on 1 or 2. But badges are obviously nuts. I mean, really can't ask for anything more. The jumper's on very quick. He's got quick dribble style, Kobe size up. He just jumpers annoy me, right? And when you have a jumper that I'm not a fan of, I think this is worse than set shot 17 on very quick. This jumper frustrates me, and I think jumper is one of the most important things in the game. When you have a bad jumper, that takes away from all your other value. Because of his incredible stats and badges and his animations, he's still S tier. He might be the 2nd best center in the game, but he's just not worth his price for me personally. And I don't want to complain because he still is an elite card, but he's not a card I personally recommend buying for his price, but is still easily an S tier guy in my team, no doubt about that. Shawn Bradley, he gives you the same size as a guy like Yao Ming, and then basically gives you nothing else compared to Yao Ming on the court besides the size. Crazy slow, can't shoot the ball at all, 25 shot 3, no playmaking badges. This card is not worth touching the floor at all. Release is on normal, and it doesn't matter anyway, because when you have a 25 shot 3, you're never going to make a shot. You can paint sit on this card more than you can in any other card in this list by a significant margin. He is not good. Don't even waste your time. Easy S tier or F tier, D tier. There's not even F tier, but if there was an F tier, Shawn Bradley would be the only card in it. He's the worst card on this list despite his size. If you can't shoot at all, you're useless. Vlade Divac, I think, does slot into the C tier. He's not horrible. He's got pretty good size. He's decent, not crazy slow, an acceptable defender. Badges are pretty decent all the way around. He's a good enough shooter. Set shot 16 is a jumper that I'm not a huge fan of. It is kind of slow. Same jumper as guys like Pat Burke, Pau Gasol, Greg Oden. But in fundamental dribble style, he doesn't really have much playmaking ability, but he's an acceptable all-around card. I feel like he probably is the best card in C tier, similar to a guy like Robert Parrish, though I don't feel like he does enough in any specific area to be super elite. He's not an elite defender. He's not an elite shooter. He's not an elite athlete. He's not an elite slasher. None of those things are elite on this card. He's just okay. So he goes to the top of C tier. Probably the best card in C tier, but still not a great card in my opinion. And then we have Wilt. And the debate with Wilt is he A tier or is he S tier? And I think he's S tier. I'll be honest. I think Wilt is an S tier center. I don't think I personally would take this card over the other 4 guys that I have above him in S tier. I'm still going to leave Artis S tier because I do think Artis is a little bit better than all these guys in A tier. But Wilt is 7'1" with an 8-foot wingspan. He's got the best wingspan in the game. Obviously incredibly long, an incredible defender and finisher. Half quick first step as well. 95 speed excel. Stats are amazing. You add a shoe and a coach to him, he's going to be a pretty decent shooter, especially when you add badges like blinders, chef, sniper, limitless spot up, and deadeye. Doesn't really need any other badges besides that but you can add playmaking badges as well because he has the quick dribble style, which gives him at least a little bit of playmaking ability compared to basically everybody else on this list except for a couple cards. Set shot 17, release 32 upper on very quick. It's the exact same release as Ralph Samson except on very quick, basically the same as Dikembe Mutombos, but with the good shooting badges that he has if you badge him out. The fact that he's an absolutely incredible defender, super long, super fast. He's better than everybody in A tier. He's definitely an S tier guy. I honestly might even be a little bit low on him. I think you could make an argument that he's a top 3 center in the game. Definitely S tier though. I'm not going to doubt that at all. And then finally we have Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who's going to go either B or C tier. Just he's I don't know, man. He's not great, 7'3" with 7'6" wingspan. He's got great size and he's a really nice shooter, but he's super slow and not a good perimeter defender. So he's going to struggle a lot defensively. On the interior, he'll be fine. Perimeter wise, he's not, and he does need a lot of badges added like fast twitch, limitless takeoff, posterizer, unpluckable. Can't get quick first step. Also needs ankle braces, ball stripper, pickpocket. So he's probably going to be missing a badge or 2 as well. Kent Bazemore release. This jumper's kind of weird, but I honestly don't feel like it's that bad. Even on normal, it's honestly pretty smooth, not too slow, and easy to green. So that is nice. His just lack of speed and defense on the perimeter is going to hurt him, and that's why I don't think he can be any higher than the B tier despite having really good size, because he is slow and he's not a particularly good perimeter defender, and those are 2 pretty significant flaws despite the fact that he is a pretty good shooter, and honestly, once fully badged out, isn't missing a ton either. So this is my tier list of the best centers right now in my team. I think you could change it up a little bit. You could move Artis Gilmore down maybe. You could potentially argue that Rick Smits shouldn't be this high because he's not complete enough badge-wise, things like that. But this is my opinion. Let me know what you think of the list down in the comment section down below. Who do you think I maybe ranked too high, too low, left off the list that should have been on the list? All those things. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know. But hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.